One of the scariest things you have to do if you want to find a good job, a new job, is the job interview. And my only advice for that really is try to be as comfortable as you can. But it's a strange experience doing a job interview because you can't help but feel nervous. Maybe a certain level of nerves is important. But one way you can prepare for a job interview, because they can be scary, is to think about some of the questions that they're likely to ask. And I'm going to give you 6 questions that are typically in almost every job interview. There'll be versions of these questions. Maybe they'll be worded slightly differently, but you can give the same answers. I'm going to give you some examples. It's in the lesson. There are 6 most common job interview questions. Let's have a look. And I'll give you a sample of what I would answer. I haven't prepared this. I'm just going to look at it and think on my feet. Let's have a go. Okay, the first one is a very common question. What are your strengths? Or it could be, what are your weaknesses? So here, one way to answer is, one of my key strengths is, and then you say something that you're good at. One of my key strengths is I'm quite humorous. I'm able to explain things simply. Oh, that's 2 things, but that's one. A weakness, well, I want to improve my something that's a small weakness that's not really that important. I want to improve my dress sense. I think I should wear more smarter clothes for my interviews. Number 2, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So this is really asking, are you ambitious or not ambitious? The best answer is to give a slightly higher level, just a bit higher than where you are now. I'm an English teacher online. In 5 years' time, I would hope to have a successful publishing empire of textbooks that goes with these videos. Number 3, can you share an example of a problem you've solved at work? Sure. I had a problem at work because we didn't have the right materials for teaching, so I developed my own set of textbooks, and now we have some of the best kindergarten textbooks in the business. That's a pretty good answer, wasn't it? Number 4, have you had any leadership experience? Yes, in my previous position, I was the director of the school. My job was to design the curriculum for students and train assistant teachers to be good enough to teach the class. Number 5, what do you know about our company? I am impressed by X company and your commitment to English education. I'm excited to have a chance to join you. So here you're thinking about the company that you want to join and say something nice about them and something specific that's to show that you've researched this company. If it was my company and I was interviewing somebody, maybe they would say, "Oh, I'm very interested in your textbooks, and I particularly enjoy your videos. I've seen many of them on YouTube." And I go, "Oh, thank you." Finally, every interview, you should think of some questions that you want to ask. Here are some examples. They'll say, "Do you have any questions for us?" Or "What questions do you have?" Here are some sample questions you could make. "Could you please tell me more about the chances for professional development?" "What chances do I have to get a promotion in your company?" "How can you help my career?" "How would you describe the company culture here?" That means, is this a friendly place to work? Do people work very hard past their hours? Is there training in the company? These are all good questions to ask. You always, when you make a question, you always have to think about how the other person will interpret that question. You don't want to sound like you're lazy. I only care about money and I want to go home on time. But at the same time, you need to ask certain questions to know, is this company the kind of place that you want to work? If you're getting the feeling that there might be something wrong, then you need to ask questions now at the interview. But anyway, if you cover these 6 questions, these 6 questions will come up. There'll always be some question that you didn't really prepare for, and you just try your best to give an honest but reasonable answer. But if you've prepared these 6 answers to these 6 questions, you're ready to go. Okay, let me see. I've got 3 questions here for you. What's the hardest question for you to answer? Number 2, do Japanese interview questions differ from these? Sometimes I've been in Japanese interviews that have been much, much easier. It's almost like in Japan, they've decided they're going to give you the job, and then they just have the interview as like a Hanko stamp. That sadly doesn't happen that often in my experience in other Western companies. Case by case. Number 3, what should you never do in a job interview? That's an interesting question. There's so many things you should never do. What do you think? Alternatively, maybe there are many things that you should do that I haven't talked about. What do you think? Okay. I think that's everything to say. So practice those 6 questions and practice making those questions and answering those questions. And you'll be prepared as best as you can be. Okay, thank you very much. See you again.